Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. It's your girl Anita Rivers of Classic Royalty Designs, and today's video is going to be short, sweet, and simple, and this video is really for beginner sewers. So with this video, I'm going to show you guys how to sew a straight line. Yes, I know it may sound basic, but you need to start slow first before you want to make a complete garment. So yes, I'm going to show you guys how to sew a straight line, and I'm going to show you two techniques on what can help you to sew straight lines, and how to use your needle, how to use your presser foot, how to turn your needle. So this will all help you sew faster and get familiar with your sewing machine. So let's go and let's get into the video. First, before I start this video, I have a new group on Facebook, and it is called Sewing Tips and Techniques with Classic Royalty. And if you have a Facebook account, please add my sewing group. This is my sewing group, and the reason why I wanted to branch off into my own group was because I wanted a more one-on-one interaction with beginners, with pros, just with everybody. I wanted to share my knowledge with a community who's not judgmental and who's also open to giving suggestions, who's just supportive, and just people who just want to learn more about fashion. So like I said, please add my group on Facebook, please. Thank you. So like I said before, guys, this video is for beginners only. It's a video on how to sew straight lines. So for this video, you guys will need your ruler, thread. You guys are going to cut some muslin in a square, and you guys are going to need a marker. I have your basic muslin here, and what I did was I just cut out a muslin in a square, and to be very specific, this is a 6" by 6" square. And what I did with this was I just have every square an inch, so there's an inch in between each square. And what I did was I numbered each square. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines. And then here I also wrote down the date, which is July 25th. So every time you want to practice your lines, write the date here at the bottom so that you can compare them to a later date to see if you're getting better or if you're getting worse. But yes, right now, just cut out your muslin 6 by 6 or 8 by 8 or any size that you choose. Then you guys are going to number each line. And then you guys are also going to put the date, today's date. Okay guys, so the one thing that I found out when I was a beginner sewer was that I used to look at the needle. And that's one thing you should not do. What you guys need to look at is the outside of your needle, which is your left side and your right side. The more you pay attention to the needle, the more your thread is going to go off center. So what you guys need to focus on is actually the line that you're sewing on or the line that you would like to make. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my threads that are right here and push them towards the back. And I'm going to take both of my hands. One is going to help me push the fabric, and the other hand is going to help me hold down the other side of the fabric. So what I'm going to do is you take your needle, and the first thing you guys are going to do is just to put your needle inside of your fabric. Okay? Now you guys are going to start slowly. You're going to follow this line that I have here, and you're going to sew as slow as possible if you're a beginner. I'm going to sew as slow as possible. Remember, this hand, your right hand should guide you. Your left hand should also help you guide your thread and guide your needle. Okay, once you're done, you're going to take out the thread and you're going to cut the extra fabric. And this is actually what your line should look like. It doesn't have to be neat, but the line must be as close as to the balloon line as possible. Can you guys see that? It is very close, it is very straight. And if you want to see how straight you've made your line without the blue marker line, just turn it over and you can see how straight your line is. Now, you're going to go ahead and move on to the next line. And when sewing a straight line, every line should get better and better. Again, you're going to use your left hand and you're going to use your right hand to guide you. If you feel like the thread is going one way, turn your fabric while you're sewing and continue to sew straight. You can also stop if you feel like you're moving too fast, but continue to sew. Don't get scared. And again, you're going to pull out your thread and you guys are going to cut. And then you guys can actually compare 1 and 2. You can close that 1 inch mark, bring them together, and you guys can compare the stitches. This is why I like doing the 1 inch apart, so you can fold over and start to compare the two. Or you can just let it out and compare the two, just like this. Okay guys, as you guys can see, I only did the first one and the second one for you guys, and it actually looks pretty good. And you can actually look on one side and follow the marker, or you can actually turn it over and see how clean your guidelines are. So this is actually muslin. This is the first project for you guys. So all of your beginners out there, you can use muslin because muslin is very inexpensive and you can practice on it, and if you want, you can also sew in between the lines without the guidelines. If you feel like you're a beginner and you want to challenge yourself and you don't want to use these guidelines here, go ahead and practice in between the lines. It can be straight or it can be zigzag. It can be, just go ahead and feel what you know and do what you know. But do not be scared. Remember, this is practice. If you are a beginner, don't let these lines discourage you. If one is crooked, that's fine. If the other one is straight, that's fine. Continue to practice on muslin like this, or continue to do the same method on a piece of paper. But the reason why I like doing it on muslin, because muslin is the closest thing to an actual fabric. So this is one technique that I love, and I think that you guys will definitely enjoy if you are a beginner. Okay guys, so the second technique that I'm going to show you guys are going to get a 6 by 6 or whatever size square that you make. It does not need to be even, but you guys are going to get a square piece of muslin. For this method, you guys are not going to draw anything on the muslin. You guys are going to use your eyes, use your hands, and also with this method, you guys are going to learn how to pivot your needle. Yes, you guys are going to learn how to pivot your needle. It is very simple, so don't get alarmed, but I'm going to show you guys how to do it. Hey guys, so we have our square piece of fabric. Remember, there's nothing on it, there's no guidelines, there's nothing. So what you guys are going to do, you're going to turn your notch to 4. Then you guys are going to place your needle on the corner of your fabric, but make sure you guys leave a little bit of space. I'm not going to give you guys your measurement because you guys will learn measurements in a later video or later time, whenever you choose. This video is only to help you learn how to sew straight lines and to pivot. So you guys are going to put your needle again in the fabric. Then you guys are going to sew. You guys are going to slow as possible, so slow as possible, until you get all the way down towards the edge. Alright, so once you get towards the edge, you guys have this here on the back of your sewing machine. You guys are gonna put your needle inside the fabric. You guys are gonna pick that up in the back of your sewing machine, or you guys have this on your sewing machine as well. You can either push it here on the side, or you can use the lifter on the back of your sewing machine. Either one is fine. So I'm gonna use the lifter in the back of the sewing machine. Now I'm gonna turn the fabric. I'm gonna make a left, put the lifter back down, and continue to sew straight. Make sure you guys are watching how you're sewing. Use your left hand and use your right hand as your guide. You can also use the metal plates on your sewing machine as your guide as well. So remember, I'm going to sew down until about here. Then you're going to place your needle inside the fabric. Put your lifter up in the back of your sewing machine. Turn the fabric. Put your lifter back down and continue to sew. Again, put your needle in the fabric. Put your lifter up. Then you're going to turn or pivot. Put your lifter back down, and you guys are going to sew. And basically that is it. That is how you sew and pivot. And with this method, it teaches you two things. So it teaches you how to sew a straight line, and it teaches you how to make a nice curve, a nice turn, or a nice pivot. This can help you with any garment, especially with waistbands or just anything in particular. This is a great method for you guys if you are beginners. And also with no guidelines, you can actually see how well you guys are sewing. So you can see it's curved a little bit, but it's still straight. And it goes all the way around. Now if you want, you can also continue to sew within this box and continue to sew until you get to the center. Or you can start off with sewing in a circle, doing your pivots, and doing straight lines going across. Now this method is very helpful. I did this method, and I also did this method back when I was in college, when I first was a freshman, and it helped me a lot. So you have the first method, which is just the lines. So you guys are going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lines or 5 lines. You're going to number each line an inch apart, and then you guys are going to mark your date. And then if you want to compare your seams, you can fold over the seams to compare each seam. And again, with this one, with this technique, you guys are learning how to sew straight, and you guys are learning how to pivot all at the same time. And if you want to continue this method, you can do it all the way around until your thread hits the center of this fabric, or you guys can just sew straight lines or diagonal lines once you get a little bit more advanced. But sewing in a straight line is not that difficult. Make sure you guys practice, because it is very rewarding for yourself once you see a straight line on a piece of fabric. So again guys, for this video you will only need these things. You will need a Sharpie. You guys will need 2 square pieces of muslin for this project, and you will need your basic ruler and some thread. And I promise you guys, when it comes to sewing straight lines or just sewing in general, please don't stress yourself out. Sewing is a technique, and sewing definitely takes time. So practice makes perfect. If you get frustrated, go ahead and walk away, come back later. But I promise you guys, it is so easy and you guys will love it. Constantly practice. If you do like this technique and you want to learn how to hand sew these lines, you guys don't always have to use a sewing machine. You can take your needle or your hand sewing needle and you can weave. If you want to learn how to hand sew, you can do different techniques. But this one is for if you want to learn how to do a straight stitch on muslin for beginners. So with this video, it's very short, it's very simple, and I hope you guys took a lot from it. If you try both these methods, please leave a comment below telling me that you tried both these methods. I really want to know if you guys tried this method. And again, thank you guys for watching my video. I hope you learned something from this video if you are a beginner. If you are a beginner, please let me know what other videos you would like me to do for you guys. Zippers, hems, darts, anything else, draping, how to drape a sleeve, just anything that's basic that you guys would like to know. And again, if you haven't, please subscribe to my channel. And please make sure you press that notification button, the little bell you see, and make sure you guys like this video. So thank you guys for watching Classic Royalty Designs by Anita Rivers, and I'll see you guys next time.